back then, back in the 60s, was just to keep the ball in play. I really didn't understand rules and targets and all that good stuff. But I definitely loved pinball. But what I also loved was coming home from grade school and watching the Three Stooges. Anybody here not a Three Stooges fan? You're not a Three Stooges fan. Who do you prefer, Laurel and Hardy? Nobody. Charlie Chaplin, okay. Well, Charlie Chaplin, Laurel and Hardy, Buster Keaton, all great comedy people. But for me, when it comes to the Three Stooges, there's only one comedy team that provides more laughs per minute, and that's the Three Stooges. So when you talk about a possible pinball theme, the Three Stooges, to me, makes perfect sense. There's not too many pinball machines out there, other than Scared Stiff, that makes me laugh while I'm playing pinball. So my goal for the past 4 or 5 years has been behind the scenes kind of stuff. What can I do to make it possible that a Three Stooges pinball machine would be produced by a professional company like Stern or Jersey Jack Pinball? Of course, you got your boutique companies out there as well, but what I would like to see is a licensed game. So that's what we're going to go over today. We'll talk a little bit about the history of the Three Stooges and how it ties in with pinball. All right. I also have some trivia questions. I got some Three Stooges trinkets to give out, and I plan on having a good time. Those of you will as well. So, Three Stooges: The History and the Future. Reference to me. Again, my name is Jim Pauly. I happen to be from Philadelphia, born and raised on pinball and the Three Stooges. So, one of my aspirations as a Three Stooges fan was to identify the Hollywood filming locations of the Three Stooges. It's something that was never done before. And I only did it for the purpose of just having fun and seeing if I could do it. Nobody knew where the boys filmed back in Los Angeles and Hollywood back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s. It was 12 years of research which led to my book titled The Three Stooges Hollywood Filming Locations. I have to thank my publisher because he did a great job. Here's an image of the cover. For those who know Leonard Maltin, he's a big Stooges fan. He was nice enough to do the foreword for the book. So, before I start talking about the history of the Stooges, what I would like to do is ask you guys a question with a prize for the guy who gets the answer right. All right, raise your hand if you know this answer. How many films, short films that is, with Columbia Pictures? They gotta be shorts. How many films did the Stooges do? Raise your hand up first in the back. 192. 192 is incorrect. Sorry. Who's, anybody else want to give it a try? Columbia Pictures, how many short films?
210.
210 is incorrect. All right, looks like we're not going to have an answer. Well, 192 was close, but 192 was low. 210 is too high. All right, the correct answer is close. The correct answer is 197. Or you guys get a big F on that one. 197 shorts, of which 96 were curlies. All right? Of course. And if you haven't, shame on you. Just so you know, real quick, if you haven't seen all the Stooges shorts and you still have one VHS, Sony Corporation, which owns Columbia Pictures, just recently released the whole set. And they redid the pictures as well as the sound quality. So it's a perfect picture, perfect sound quality. Put it in a collector set. It's really cheap. You can pick it up for like $50, $55, which is crazy cheap. It's well worth it. All right, so let's try a second trivia question since we did so well in the first one. How many Stooges were there? 5 is incorrect. I think you had your hand up, Sam.
6.
6. 6 is the correct answer. So come on up. I have a Three Stooges lanyard. You could use this to, right, add this to your lanyard collection. You can use that to hold your Expo tag. It would be perfect. So 6 is the correct answer. Mo, Larry, Curly, Shem, Joe, and Curly Joe. We're going to go over that in a second. So, all right, tell you what. We'll do one more trivia question and we'll start on my history. Of the 6 Stooges, which ones were brothers? All right, your hand came out first.
Mo, Curly, and Shemp.
Mo, Curly, and Shemp is correct. Come on up.
Nice.
Nice. What size shirt do you wear?
Large.
You
I get a shirt?
No, you don't, because I don't have a large. I have an extra large. There you go. A large shirt for the young man. Very good. All right, so you got that right. Good job, good job. So yeah, so a lot of people don't know that Mo, Curly, and Shemp were brothers. Grew up in Brooklyn. All right, so brief history of the Three Stooges themselves. They started out in vaudeville. All right, so they learned comedy the hard way. Because vaudeville wasn't easy. You traveled across the country back in the late 20s, very early 30s. Start off with an Irish comedian, well known at the time. Most people have no idea who Ted Healy is today. But Ted Healy at the time was the highest paid comedian back in the 20s, very early 30s. So it was Ted Healy and Mo were actually boyhood friends. And when Mo decided to do some acting, he hooked up with Ted, and that grew from Ted and Mo to Shemp. They were actually doing some comedy skits. Ted Healy had his own show that involved many other people. Circus animals, dancers, jugglers, all kinds of stuff. Routine, vaudeville type stuff that was entertaining back then. Today, with all the entertainment we have access to, it might be a little boring, right? But back then, Ted Healy was huge. So, guess where they were? Well, hold on. This might be another trivia question, but I didn't really prepare for this one. Anyway, you know what I could ask this, because you guys got that one wrong. All right, so Ted Healy, Mo, and Shemp are touring the country, right? They come across Larry at a nightclub and decide to ask him to join the act. All right, trivia question time. Where did that occur? You had your hand up, Mark, sure. Chattanooga, Tennessee is incorrect by far. You didn't win yet, right? Huh? You didn't win anything yet, right? Got it. Chicago. Dave gets it. Chicago's the answer. It was the Rainbow Rooms, from what I understand. I don't think it exists. Matter of fact, I think they just knocked that building down not too long ago, maybe a few years ago. Was I sure you were? Can't help me. 2XL is my. I figured it'd be a couple of curly size guys here. It's just a collared shirt collage with buttons. Thanks, Dave. Very good. So Chicago, right here, is where Larry happened to be performing, because Larry was also doing vaudeville back in the 20s. All right, so then the act becomes Ted Healy and his Stooges, Mo, Larry, and Shemp. Most people think that Curly was the first third Stooge. It's actually Shemp. Ted Healy liked to drink, and when Ted Healy drank, unfortunately for him and all the boys, he was a little abusive. So the boys weren't too happy about that. Shemp in particular. At one point, Shemp decided to leave the act. For those guys who have not given Shemp a chance, believe it or not, Shemp is very funny. He is naturally funny. If you talk to anybody in the family who knew Shemp, they always said he had probably the most natural talent as far as an actor / comedian goes. A lot of his stuff would be just off the cuff. Well, Shemp didn't like how Ted Healy was acting when he drank too much. So Shemp knew he could find work on his own. That's exactly what he did. He left the act. And that's why you'll see Shemp do a lot of separate stuff on his own. He worked with Abbott and Costello. He did his own, he was under contract with Columbia Pictures by himself. He did his own short subject stuff for Columbia Pictures. Matter of fact, that collector set I mentioned earlier that Sony put out, all 190 shorts, also comes with an extras DVD. And in that DVD has 10 Columbia shorts featuring Shemp Howard, a lot of which diehard fans like myself have never seen before. To me, that extra DVD alone is worth $100. That's how rare some of those films were. So we're fortunate as fans to have that. All right, so Shep leaves. For Mo, the obvious answer was to bring his younger brother Jerry along, right, who we now know as Curly. So the act becomes Ted Healy, Mo, Larry, and Curly. And this is still prior to Columbia Pictures, prior to 1934. So MGM Pictures actually did some color pictures with the boys. And one particular picture called Hello Pop was just recently discovered, only about 2 years ago, long lost in an MGM fire in 1967. 6 months prior to this film being discovered, I believe it was discovered in Austria. 6 months prior, I said to myself, I'm never going to see this film again because it was lost. But Hello Pop is now available on DVD. Okay, so let's move on. So the boys, Mo and Larry and Curly, decide to leave Ted Healy altogether. That's when in 1934 they joined up with Columbia Pictures. And at the time, Columbia Pictures was the only studio left still doing short subject films, which means anywhere from 16 and a half to roughly 19 minutes long. And of course, the short films were shown before the full-length feature movie. So Mo, Larry, and Curly do 97 films. So Curly does 97 between 1934, when in 1946, while filming Half-Wit's Holiday, Curly has an unfortunate stroke. And he is no longer able to work. He can't remember his lines. Okay, he lost a lot of weight, stuff like that. Matter of fact, if you pay attention to the Stooges shorts in 43, 4, 5, and 6, you can actually see a downward smile of Curly's health. He gets thinner, his voice isn't as high as it should be, and believe it or not, he did have a hard time remembering some of his lines in 1945 and 46. I've actually held original scripts where you see Curly's lines, his name's crossed off, and Larry's name is written in. So you'll start to see Larry with many more responsibility, more lines in the shorts. As a result, the obvious answer was to bring Shep back to the act. Not into the act, but actually back. So Shep's back, and of course, he glided right in. He fit right in. He was a perfect match as a third Stooge. 77 films with Columbia Pictures with the boys, 1947 to 1956. Unfortunately, Shep had a heart attack and died unexpectedly. And the last 3 films were actually using a double to fill in with Shep, and Columbia Pictures used some snippets from other shorts to come up with some. There was one comedian under contract at this time. His name was Joe Besser. Right? And Joe Besser, most Stooges fans say, no. And unfortunately, I agree. You know, Joe Besser is an individual, a very nice guy, but not exactly the best third Stooge. But Joe Besser did his best with what was available from 1957 to 1959. And what happened there was, in 1958, Harry Cohn, the CEO of Columbia Pictures, passed away. Harry Cohn and the boys had a handshake contract. Okay? With the death of Harry Cohn, that was the end of the short subject division of Columbia Pictures, which took the Three Stooges with it. About a year goes by and nothing happens. Columbia Pictures decides to release a movie called Stop, Look, and Laugh. It was a compilation of the best of the Mo, Larry, and Curly shorts. And it used a ventriloquist dummy and Paul Mitchell. Well, it was a huge success. Well, Mo wasn't too happy about that, and Mo threatened to sue Columbia Pictures because Columbia Pictures never talked to them about this, didn't offer them anything. Columbia Pictures says, don't worry about it, we'll work something out. Let's do a 3, 4, 5, 6 picture contract, and we'll go from there. That's exactly what happened. As a result, they bring in Curly Joe, whose real name is Joe Dorito. So it's now Mo, Larry, and Curly Joe. They do 6 films together between 1959 and 1965. Okay? Some of them are okay, not too bad. My favorite is The Outlaws Is Coming with Adam West, a year before he did Batman. And The Outlaws Is Coming is pretty cool because they brought in all the big cities like Philadelphia, Chicago, LA. They brought in the big city children's TV show hosts who showed the Three Stooges to kids like me back in the 60s and early 70s, brought them in and made them the outlaws. In Philadelphia, Sally Starr was the TV show host, and she played the part of Belle Starr. So that was pretty cool for us Philadelphia guys. Good stuff. All right, so before we do that, Dave, hold on 1 second. So I got another trivia question. Let's see how good you guys are. Now, part of the history of Pinball and the Three Stooges is this. There's actually two short films that the Three Stooges did, where pinball machines was an object, was used as a prop, okay, which made us laugh. Does anybody in the audience know one of those two shorts? The name of the short. Anybody? He's not sure, is he? You remember seeing it, you remember the short. Okay. All right, well, since you don't know it, we will show it to you. It's called Three Little Pirates. This is just a snippet. We'll start off with the good song and all that good stuff. Here we go.
Your Excellency, why did you let those three scoundrels go?
Scoundrels? My dear, they are merchants who go to bring me priceless gifts.
Merchants. Are they the three castaways?
Yes, so they are. What? Call out the guard! Call out the guard! We can search the island.
You don't have to search the island. They've gone to the den of Black Louis the pirate.
To Black Louis?
Oh, Excellency, hurry, they have gone to Bright Louis.
There is no need to hurry. Take a message. My dear pal Louis, you are going to have visitors, and I would suggest that you give them a warm reception. Get those things on. Come on. Look, a game of skill. Shall we play? No, there's work to be done. Come on. Hiya, man. We're looking for Black Louis.
I'm Black Louis. Welcome, strangers. Make yourselves at home. We're having a little target practice. Where do you have sharp eyes for throwing knives?
Why certainly?
Fine. We'll have a little contest of our own, say for 50 pieces of gold.
No, I don't want to.
What's that?
I said certainly, I'd be glad to.
Good.
Yeah.
Get the knives. What we need is a real live target. Oh, a volunteer. You'll do. We'll throw the knives at him.
Oh, no. I just...
You have nothing to worry about. If either one of us hit you, we lose.
Oh, that's different.
Help yourself.
Be careful you don't hit Larry. Where is he? Over there. I don't see him. Take off the glasses. Over there by the wall. What wall? Yeah? Put back the glasses. Yeah. We'll have to dance later. I'm too busy. Venus.
The governor found out about our plot. He sent word to Black Louis to kill you.
We better call the cops. We better call the Marines. Keep a stiff upper lip, kid. I'll think of something. Let's not lose our heads.
Yeah, let's go.
Nah.
Don't move. Remember, the first one that hits him loses.
Don't worry, I won't take no difference. Go ahead, you first.
Get back in position. Foul play, eh?
Nice work, kid. Nice work. That's what I call nice work. What a clean sweep.
We can take back Louis' loop and flee out before these capitals wake up.
Yeah, let's get to it. Not a chance, kid. I captured this layout and I'm taking over. I now crown myself Emperor of Dead Man's Island. Down, slaves, and select me.
Good stuff, good stuff. You gotta love Larry's first line when he first approaches the pinball machine. Look, a game of skill, shall we play? So we know Roger Clark was able to prove that pinball was a game of skill in the early 70s, right? Here's Larry in 1946 saying that pinball is a game of skill. So I thought that's pretty cool. If you notice, one of my goals was to identify that pinball machine. And I looked at that back box, I did everything I could, the back last night, checked down, couldn't figure it out. Turns out Columbia Pictures did what?
They black.
They whited out, they used white paint over the title. All right, besides a couple of gentlemen up front who I had a conversation with last night, anybody here know the name of the title of this pinball? It's been identified. No guesses, nothing? It's not a Bailey. It's actually not a Bailey, not a Williams, not a Chicago Coin. Somebody said Keeney. Who said Keeney? Very good. It is a Keeney. Some of the clues, of course, original cabinet. And this is a 1946 film, by the way. So when I was looking, part of the clues was the fact it was definitely pre-1946. And in most cases, because at that time period, Columbia Pictures really was not spending a lot of money on their shorts, so it had to be a used game that they got cheap. So I knew it was pre-46, but it really had nothing else to go on. Put word out on a couple of the pinball news groups online, and fortunately for me, a couple of guys was able to answer that question. And I was able to identify the title, which is coming up, I'll let you know in a second. You can't forget about the special box and Columbia built Ye Old Tilt. I just think that's really cool, really cool. There it is, Ye Old Tilt. The backlash, and in this shot here, you can really see. I was thinking at first it might be white tape, but I believe it's white paint. This is actually a publicity still. All the other shots that you saw are screen grabs from the shorts themselves. This is actually a Columbia Pictures publicity still that they released to help publicize the short, a rare image here. Okay, so after I found out it was a Keeney's Red Hot, that's the title of this short, Keeney's Red Hot, I wanted to buy one. So I did some research, I was able to locate one that was purchased by a gentleman at auction. I got hold of the auctioneer, told him I was interested, and would he be interested in reaching out to the owner to see if I could buy it. Make a long story short, this game is in my house now. So I actually own this game. It's pretty cool, flipperless of course. It's actually a 1941 game. A friend of mine, Jim from JT Amusements, Pennsylvania, actually got it working for me perfect. Works like a top. This is a pretty cool shot. What I did here was, I put my game back glass next to the back glass so you can see the difference. It's identical except the white paint or perhaps white tape if I'm wrong. And of course, the old tilt box has been added. Now, what's cool is this. I'm one of a couple gentlemen that's responsible for putting together a full-blown public Three Stooges convention, April 1st, 2nd, 3rd, year 2016, next year. It's going to be in a suburb of Philadelphia at the Trevos Madison Inn. One of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this pinball machine there, okay? I'm going to have a friend of mine who's a carpenter, he's really good. I'm going to have him make that old tilt box for me. I'm going to put that on top of the machine. Then I'm going to get a big mallet made out of foam or something safe. Just put it in position where a person would walk up underneath the mallet, put their head under it, and just get their picture taken with the game. Kind of like imitating the pirate that we saw, poor Larry on the Stooges. So I thought that would be a pretty cool idea. So that's my plans for that pinball machine, which would be pretty cool because it'll get people in the public to see a pinball machine and perhaps generate some conversation about pinball itself. So Keeney's Red Hot, there it is.
What is the name of this event?
It's actually April Fool's Weekend with the Three Stooges. It's a Three Stooges convention. Yes, Three Stooges convention.
So that was the original topper for pinball.
Yeah, that's right. It's the very first topper ever. You're right. That's very good. That's good. Yield tilt topper.
Yeah.
But yeah, I plan on making one, so it should be interesting. All right, guys. So let's move on to the next short that involves a second pinball machine. Thanks, David.
I'm gonna be out late tonight, you better take the key. I wanna go to sleep myself. All right, so long, have a good time. All right, guys.
How can you see us?
Must have been the Dollar game last night.
Hello, Mr. Nolan, come in. That's for us.
Stand aside. Let the guy know what's I quit. That's it. I quit.
Good boy, kid, good boy.
That's usually it. Well, a marble machine in jail. That's where they belong.
Actually,
Wait a minute. We gotta find out Nancy's father. Maybe he's never saw Terry Wyman. Well, whoever he is, we gotta find him. Come on.
Okay, so that was 3 smart saps. And does anybody recall what Mo said after Larry said, look, a marble machine in jail? That's where they belong, right? Because that was the thinking back then. Is that wild? That people would think so negative of a pinball machine that it belongs in jail. Wow.
What year was that?
Okay, so this short is 1942. Now, this pinball machine I have not identified. And we've had some of the top experts in the field sitting up front here, and unfortunately, we're still at an impasse. Now, this game from the side has unique cabinet art, so hopefully that'll help us in the near future identify this game. There is another clue as to what it is that's coming up. Upper right-hand corner is actually a Bally decal. So we know it's a Bally game, and we said probably 1938 is what we're going with. So 1938, 1939, which fits in with what Columbia would have done. They would not have bought a brand new machine to put in, they would have bought a used one. And again, 1942 film, 1938, 39 pinball machine. Pretty cool. So we do need help trying to identify this. If anybody recognizes the play field or the back glass, here's the back glass.
You know, the funny thing is, you have the top of the back got cut off. Maybe they painted over that too. You know what I mean?
That is possible. There could be some more wording on top. That is possible. But very unique back glass. Real quick, 4-leaf clovers, trophies, stars, targets, ribbons, and a couple of patriotic hats that match the play field. So my goal is to identify that game also. Maybe I'll find one someday. And when we talk about the Three Stooges, here's an unusual rare lobby card with Shem Howard in a solo short called Tight Shoes. And I didn't show this to you guys last night, but here's another game I wouldn't mind trying to figure out what it is. Another flipper-less game. Yeah, so we'll try to get that one identified also. Anybody out there in the audience recognize it, let me know. So I also understand we're streaming live, right guys? So I just want to welcome everyone out there. Thanks for joining us. Great subject, Three Stooges and pinball. Can't go wrong, right? So, as far as the future goes, the future is pretty much now. In 2008, Three Stooges being a popular theme, and some young people got together and made a virtual pinball machine. I have not played it, but this is the play field that they came up with. It's a pretty good image of Curly in the center. And they've got Curly's name here as far as drop targets go, and Larry's name. Yeah, absolutely virtual. And then they upgraded it, but it made some minor changes in 2011. You can see it's the same image here. But they also added Shem, which I thought was pretty cool right here. And this is supposed to be the back glass there. So the virtual pinball includes the Three Stooges. There was one gentleman, well, it's probably been about 10 years now off the top of my head, that got a Dolly Parton pinball machine and converted it to a Three Stooges pinball machine. He did a pretty good job for someone working out in the basement. It's an unlicensed game, and that pinball machine today sits in the Three Stooges Museum in Pennsylvania. I'm sorry? Is that his name? Eric? I'm being told it's Eric from Wisconsin. The game today, starting to show a little wear and tear. I've worked on it a couple times, had to fix it. But not a bad game to play.
Do you know what the images are on the inline drop targets? The inline drop targets up there, upper right?
Upper right?
Oh, and NYUK.
Oh, right here, yes. You have an N, a Y, a U, and a K. They have to drop on the targets. That's what they are. Yeah, matter of fact, I have a picture of the back box right there. There's the back glass with a collage of pretty good images. Some good stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I don't think so. Sounds are okay. It's mostly routine stuff, not too, a little bit of sounds, not too much.
But it doesn't, it just,
I don't recall.
yeah.
I don't recall. Cool. So, that's the history of Stooges, a little bit of history of how pinball was involved as a prop and helped provide some jokes. In today's day and time, when I go to Three Stooges festivals or conventions, I see people showing up, and I like to say one thing. It's great watching the Three Stooges at home on DVD or cable or on television, but it's a whole other thing watching the Three Stooges in a theater with an audience of 200, 300, 400 people. I was fortunate enough to be out in Glendale, California at the Alex Theater with 650 people in the audience. And it just brings the Three Stooges to a whole different level. Everybody laughs. And a lot of people say women don't like the Three Stooges. Go to a convention or go to a film festival, and you'll see that the women are laughing just as much as the men. So, for me, I mentioned earlier, the only game I can think of that makes me laugh while I play pinball is Scared Stiff, a great game. And I think in today's climate, I think we're ready for a game that makes you laugh. And for me, I just feel the Three Stooges would be a perfect theme to make that happen. There's so many great sound bites that could tie in. There's so many great images that would be perfect on a cabinet, the back glass, as well as the playfield. Could you picture Three Stooges pie multi-ball? Think about it. Where you could do something like Medieval Madness or The Hobbit, where Moe, Larry, Curly, and even Shemp pop up out of the playfield. And your pinball represents the pie, and you have to hit the different targets for points. So there's many different options that I have all up here, but hopefully someday we'll see the Three Stooges pinball machine. I think it'll be a lot of fun. With that, I'm going to entertain some questions. Who's got some questions? I don't think that mic's on.
Got it now?
There you go.
You have passed over an important incident in history.
I did.
So, for a time, Columbia Pictures owned the Gottlieb Company because they bought it from the Gottlieb family. And another subsidiary of Columbia Pictures was their Licensing Corporation of America. And while Columbia Pictures owned the Gottlieb, they used the corporate synergy so that Gottlieb, which had not previously done any licensed games, suddenly could start doing all the Marvel Comics characters, Spider-Man and Hulk, because Licensing Corporation of America handled Marvel licensing, and it did James Bond. On the video side, there was a Three Stooges video game, I'm sure.
There was. I own that also.
Yeah,
my house.
so it seems like it came this close to having enough of a corporate connection that they could have done. And my recollection is that in previous pinball expos, we've heard people who worked at D. Gottlieb Company at the time say that the idea was kicked around.
Wow. That would have been nice. I would love to see a Gottlieb Three Stooges pinball machine. Yes, sir.
Yeah, my feeling on it is it would have been ahead of its time. You would have had the visuals, but the great sound clips of games like Attack on Mars and Medieval Madness, the technology wasn't there yet.
That's true. And talk about technology, right now is prime for technology. You know, the fact that you might have a big TV screen in the back glass showing clips of the Stooges, you know, adorning Three Stooges pie multi-ball, for instance. You know, Moe, Larry, Curly, Shemp get hit with pies at the same time, be perfect. You hit the Larry character on the playfield with the ball representing the pie, and Larry says, "Who threw that pie?" And Larry actually says that in 1946, I'm sure. In the Sweet Pie Pie, it's the best pie fight scene of all time. If you haven't seen it yet, make sure you see it. Good stuff. Anybody else? Okay. Thank you very much.
Sure. Yeah.
Guys, let's say the word for now. 6:30, Jody's going to be speaking for those who want to see him.
Joey Dankberg, you'll be Birch AV. We'll be back.